Hey, this is Lincoln Barber from Photo Authentic. Welcome to Module 2 of Path to Pro. This module is all about goal setting and how you can use it in your photography career to get you to where you want to go with your business and with your personal goals. I'd like to start off with this quote that I read recently. Seemed timely for this. The essence of strategy is choosing what not to do, by Michael Porter. So to me, this sort of indicates that often when we are setting out on our goal planning, we will fill them up with things that seem relevant to the goal, but really aren't. And so being careful to edit your action steps and your planning is really important in achieving your goals, because what you don't want to do is make your goals too big, too ambitious, or just too challenging. You want goals to be achievable. And I'm going to walk through how to make goals achievable for you. So let's talk about the point of goal setting. First, goal setting gives you purpose. When you sit down at your desk and you don't have a goal, you're just going to waste time. You're going to check your email, you're going to look on social media, you're just going to get distracted from what you should be doing to get you to your higher purpose, your higher calling. Goals are rewarding. As a human, we are naturally predisposed to seek rewards. And by setting out a goal, completing the goal, it feels very rewarding. It activates all these hormones and chemicals in your brain that just energize you and make you feel like you've accomplished something because you have. You've done something that you said you would do and you followed through. And that is a hugely rewarding feeling that it's kind of one of the core elements of a goal. Goals help you expand your mindset. Like working out, and exercising your muscles, you have to kind of push them beyond what they're used to in order for them to grow and to get stronger. And a goal will push you to go beyond what you think you're capable of doing. And once you've achieved that goal, you are now stronger and not only in mindset, but also in your resilience and your determination to be proactive and to keep moving forward. It's all about building momentum. Building goals will allow you to build off each goal. And so you build off the success and keep growing and growing from where you were to where you go. And that helps make things easier for you as things go on. When I first started out, my first goals were to get 5 clients, and then once I got 5 clients, then I added 5 more, and now I have 10 clients, but I did the same amount of work. So each success, each completed goal is a part of the building blocks of greater and bigger things for you. So let's talk about the right goal and how to define that. First, the right goal is specific. It's really clearly defined. It's not vague like get more clients or make more money. It's get 10 new clients or make $20,000. It's these very specific actions or goals, and clearly something you can say, okay, I'm going to hang my hat on this, and this is what I'm going to work towards. A good goal is challenging, but it's not impossible. You can work on this goal and not get discouraged because it's just too daunting and too monumental. I've certainly tried, setting goals that were way too ambitious or even nearly impossible, and I've backed those down and made my goals more realistic for my situation and for where I am at in my life and also in my career. A good goal is something you can complete in 12 weeks or less. And this is something that's really important. Is goals get completed when there's a timeline, when there's a due date. There's something called Parkinson Law where work fills the allotted time. And so what you want to do is set a goal that's big enough to fill about 12 weeks, which is a quarter, and break it down into manageable chunks through that quarter. Anything that takes you longer than 12 weeks is more like a vision. It's more like a big dream. And a goal is part of that whole visioning process, but it'll be too hard if you want to stick to if you do a goal for longer than 12 weeks. A good goal brings you massive value. And I can really sum this up into a goal that I set myself early this year that was achieved, but gave me zero value at the end of it. And what happened was I started a stock photo website, all Portland, Oregon stock. And I thought this was surely going to be a big hit. But I didn't do my research, and I didn't do my market analysis well enough. And I set some goals, I set some timelines, I set some deadlines, and did all the things to make it happen. And then I got it up and running, and it was a failure. So even though I achieved a goal of creating a stock photo website, it did not bring any value to me, and in fact cost me money and time. So make sure that whatever goal you're working on is going to bring you some sort of value, whether it's a financial reward, a personal reward, or some sort of career reward. There are three, and this is sort of my guidelines, but you can feel free to add your own. But these are the three goals I suggest you start with if you've never really done any goal planning. So have a financial goal. So basically set sales targets for each quarter. A marketing goal. You want to work on your website, or you want to do a promo campaign. These are the marketing goals to work towards. And then a creative goal would be like a personal project that you've always been wanting to do. So I would suggest when you're first starting out, try not to have more than 3 goals at any given time, and also make sure that these goals happen within 12 weeks. You should share your goals, and this is really important to get some accountability with what you say you're going to do, because you can tell yourself you're going to do a lot of these things, but if you don't tell anybody else, then you're just working in the dark, and there's no one to really kind of hold you accountable. So sharing your goals with other people and making yourself accountable is a really good way to stay on track and to stay motivated, because you told somebody you're going to do something and you don't want to disappoint them, and it kind of puts a little fire under you to get it going. And the last thing with goals is that you want to celebrate them when you complete them. Take yourself out for a nice treat, do something fun with a friend, go celebrate with your partner. Whatever you really enjoy that's unbusiness related, just celebrate that you completed something, and be proud of yourself, because it's not easy to set a goal and to do all the work and to complete it. And you should definitely reward yourself whatever way you feel is appropriate for you, and I highly encourage that. So we're going to do the goal setting worksheet walkthrough. So if you haven't yet, pause right now and download the PDF that's in the lesson, and go ahead and print it off. And I'll sort of walk through a marketing goal that I've set for myself for next year, and you can see how I filled it out. So this is the main page. There's 4 sort of elements. There's the goal, due date, and why this is important. So this is where this is what you're looking at as the first thing, and then you have 3 strategies, and then each strategy has an action item. So my goal, I have a marketing goal, is to do an annual promo campaign, and this is something that I haven't done enough of. I did a lot when I first started, and then I just kind of let it go. And so I've made it a goal for 2021 to do it, just plan out the whole year's promo campaign. And I'm gonna send out a quarterly, like trifold, postcard type of thing too, and so this worksheet is sort of my plan to get that, my goal to get that done. I want this all to be completed by April 1st, 2021, and it's important because it helps get new clients and it reactivates old clients. So my first strategy is the mailing list. I need to update my existing client list to make sure I have all the proper addresses on file. I need to update my prospective client list. So if I have any leads that weren't clients now, I want to make sure I have their addresses as well. If there's people that I've connected with on social media, I want to, people that I want to work for, I will try to get their mailing addresses and try to figure out how I could get them on this list. And then I'll take those two lists and I'll merge them into one file. And most mailing list companies want you to send them a CSV file, which stands for comma separated values. And it's just a simple database file where each field is separated by a comma. So those are my action items, and you can see I've set due dates, update the client list by January 15th, update the prospective client list by January 30th, and then merge them all into one list. Okay, the next strategy is content and design. So this will be sort of the bulk of the goal. This will be the most of the hard work that I'll have to do or get somebody else to do. But the important thing is these action items and following them kind of in order. So first I want to set a budget. I want to make sure if I'm sending out 500 mailers that I'm not overspending on how much these mailers are going to cost to print and ship. Then I'm going to choose my template. In my head, I have like this idea for like a trifold, so I want to look at those template options from the different mailing list companies. Modern Postcards, who I've used in the past, but I'm going to keep looking for other options. And then I'm going to choose a theme for each mailer. So, because I'm sending these out quarterly, I kind of want to time them with the season. And I shoot a lot of architecture, and so I'll probably for the first quarter I'll probably send out more like interior type of promo because it's winter and people are just going to be shooting inside stuff. But for quarter 2 and quarter 3 I'll promote more exterior type of stuff, and then quarter 4 I'll go back to promoting interiors. If you have if you're doing fashion, you might want to be promoting swimsuits in quarter 1 because this is the time of year when they photograph all the summer wear stuff. So, keep in mind that your themes should be relevant to your industry. And then I'm going to work on the design of the mailer. I have some design skills, but these days I try to use Upwork or people I know to help me out with the design. Time is precious, and I want to spend my time doing things that are more effective than just design. So I will probably pass this off to somebody else. And the last thing is to have it all printed and shipped by the 15th. So I need to figure out what the lead time is for printing so that I know when I need to have the promos designed. And I'm going to probably go ahead and plan to print. I'm going to have all 4 of these designed now so I don't have to worry about it later. So later in the year, I just have to basically make a new order and just upload different design files. The last part of this whole promo, so the whole point of doing a promo is to get your kind of foot in the door and to remind people that you're there. So I will probably draft an email follow-up template. So something like, "Dear so-and-so, I hope you received the postcard I sent last week. Wanted to follow up with you," something like along those lines. And then I will probably do a newsletter that coordinates with the promos. And so around the time that the newsletter or the promos hit, I'll time an email so that people get a printed version and a digital version at the same time. So I'll be really sort of mindful of that and just kind of coordinate those two. And then for prospective clients, I will start emailing them, at least 3 a day for 2 weeks, just to kind of work through that prospective client list and just to see if there's any leads there. It's sometimes it can be feel a little scary to kind of like email somebody out of the blue, or but the worst, they're going to ignore you or say don't bother me anymore, and then they're not going to want to hire you, so you don't have to worry about them. Take them off your list. But on the plus side, you might find a new client, you might build some rapport and get work. So that's kind of what this whole point about. That's the whole point of doing a promo, is to get work. So that's sort of my 3 strategies for the goal of creating this annual promo campaign. Here it is all together, and I'm going to print this off, put it up on my wall, and this will be And I'll probably actually even go in and put in all the due dates for all the action items just to make sure that I'm reminding myself to take care of these things. I definitely can procrastinate until the last minute, so it's really important for me to put in reminders and due dates to get things done. So failure is always an option. I think I heard this first on Mythbusters, and it's true. Sometimes you set these goals and they're ambitious and they don't work out, and that's not a bad thing. It's always, you learn from your mistakes just as much as you learn from your wins. So what you can do when something goes wrong is first assess and figure out why you didn't make your goal. Was it a financial reason? Was it a time reason? Did you get busy with work? What were the reasons that you didn't achieve those goals? So just kind of making an honest assessment of what went wrong and what you could do better next time. Another thing you could do is maybe scale back your goal. I just showed you an annual promo campaign. Maybe that's too ambitious for you at this point. Maybe you want to do something more like a quarterly goal promo, or even a monthly promo. Just do it for 1 month. So scale back your goal if it feels like it was too hard or it's just too much to do. You can also extend the timeline. So if you're going to be working on a new website for yourself, you might be able to get it done in 12 weeks, but you might need a little bit longer. So set different milestones and extend the timeline. So maybe the first 12 weeks is just all about the theme and making sure the new theme is what you like. And then the next 12 weeks is all about the content. So you kind of break this update website goal into 2 big chunks and then work through it that way. And, one more thing, make sure you've set a commitment. I said it earlier, but I want to kind of reiterate it, that when you make a commitment, especially to somebody else, and you go, hey, on January 15th, I'm going to have this done, that will make it happen. So use that as a tool to motivate you to stay on track and to follow through with your goals. So here's, that's sort of the end of the presentation. I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in the one-to-one. Here's some action steps to go forward. Download and print 3 copies of the goal worksheet. Set a financial goal, a sales target, something that would be, more than what you made last year, but nothing ridiculous. If you made, $25,000 in Q1 of last year, shoot for 30 or 35 this year. Don't shoot for $1 million, that kind of thing. Set a marketing goal. Like mine right now is this promo. So I really want to get these promos done. By next quarter, I'll probably want to work on like a website update or something else. So set your marketing goal, and then set a creative goal. What's that personal project you've been always wanting to do? Just use the goal worksheet and write it out. Come up with a strategy to get it done. Like, who is going to help you? When are you going to do it? Where are you going to do it? What do you need? All those things. Put them all in there. And then once you've filled out these strategies and these action steps, make sure you post them where you can see them, so that you're reminded that this is what I should be working on. Just have a visual reminder. This is what I'm doing today. I know I've got the shoot, but when I get done with the shoot, I'm going to go back to my goals. Again, I like to put due dates on my calendar. I highly recommend it. It's a really good way to kind of remind you, just a little ding here and there to say, okay, keep going. Share your goals with your partner and friend or a family member, and just take action. Take action today. Start working on this and start moving forward. Get that momentum going. All right. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.